Hi, my name is Steve Smith. I'm the editor of PHC News, and I'm joined today by a guy that really does not need an introduction, but I'll give it to him anyway. John Hazen White Jr., Executive Chairman and CEO of Taco Comfort Systems. John, thanks for joining us. And anybody in the press knows that when it's AHR, it's time for the Taco pre-show event. Now, you made a lot of good comments. I wonder if you can maybe recap. Particularly, it's important to note, you're celebrating 100 years this year.
Yes.
And number one, there's not many companies that are 100 years old. And there's not many 100-year-old companies that are still in the same family business that owned it and started it to begin with. So you mentioned a lot of good names, a lot of good accomplishments. Maybe you could recap a little bit of what you said at the beginning of the press event.
Well, you know, what I always say in these things, because it's so meaningful to me, is that, you know, I'm so grateful for the people that are there at that moment. Yeah. And more, but just to be able to share the time, to be able to bring people together is what Taco's all about, among many other things. But it's just, we're at a time now where we're moving ahead with what we're thinking about, which is more than products. It's about what we do with our products.
Right.
Incorporating them into, you know, system designs that are efficient and comfortable and et cetera. But you know, the interesting thing about the company, and you talk about the 100 years, the thing to me that's so interesting is that, first of all, 100-year-old companies are not that common anymore anyway. They've been bought up, they've been moved on or whatever, but it's particularly unique to find one that's still owned and held in the same family. Mm-hmm. My grandfather began this company back in 1920 and ran it until he died in 42, and then my father ran it from then until 91, and then I stepped into that role. But it's growing, it's strengthening, and but it's at the same time, my mission and my responsibility is to hold on to the values, because as you get bigger and more professional and everything else, you can lose some of the. And Taco's all about the people, all about the people.
Yeah.
And that's what's made it successful.
Good. Now, I know you joined the company in the 80s with your dad.
Yeah.
I mean, what was the company like in the 1980s? What was going on?
Oh, it was terrific. Actually, I started in the 70s in the plant, right?
Okay.
Through high school and college, and then I went away after I graduated from college. I went and worked for 4 or 5 years somewhere else. Came back to the company, and it was marvelous because it was beginning to show itself as, and my dad was he was a very interesting guy, and he so believed in the power of people, you know, and I learned a lot from that, because he was, you know, it's very interesting as I talk about the company back then and prior to that, it was never a company that was run to make money.
Yeah.
Look, it was a family-owned business. We grew up in a nice home. We had educations. We had nice vacations. We were safe. And that's what family businesses did. There came a point around 1990 where we had to really figure out how to ramp up our performance, right? The world was changing and the industry was changing. And so that was sort of the period of time that I was really getting involved with the company. And I began running it actually on an operational basis in 1992, which is a long time, and it's been a really an interesting ride. But I'm telling you, the most important thing is through all of that time, my 30 years or whatever it's been, I have always tried to protect the values and the beliefs of the White family.
Okay.
And that's about the people.
Is there more details about the values and the commitment to the people that you could?
Oh yeah. So here's my sort of thought on that. You know, we have modernized that company tremendously over the last 30 years. Look at the investments in machinery and equipment, computers, everything else. It's an amazing transformation from a very old, antiquated company. Go look at the pictures in our booth. It's old and antiquated to something that's very modern.
Yeah.
Right. And my thought through all of that was that while that's all valuable, the only thing in that building that is not obsolete tomorrow are the people. So we have taken a very aggressive approach to training and education in the workplace.
Okay.
And it's not all about workplace education. It's not all about job skills. It's about GEDs. It's about associate degrees. It's about bachelor degrees. We have an in-house MBA program. You know, it's an amazing, just because people want to learn and grow.
Yeah.
They really do, and by golly, I've taken the approach of wanting to help them be able to do that.
Okay. And I know the family has a foundation that's very active in social causes in Providence.
Yeah, Takeo the White Family Foundation, which over the years has done all kinds of different things. As it's grown and developed, it's now focused on the arts because, you know, the Providence Performing Arts Center, the Philharmonic, these kinds of things. You know, we want to help people to be able to take advantage of those. You know, these are wonderful things.
Good.
Yeah.
Now, there's one other person I don't want to miss because John Barba just won your award, your Howland Award.
Yeah.
And I think he celebrated 20 years with you guys. For
Yeah,
training,
it's about that, maybe a little less, but it's close.
Yeah.
It's in there somewhere.
What does John bring to the party, I guess?
He brings personality. I'm going to
sure
tell
does.
you, he's our head of all of our training,
Right.
and you know, at customer training, and he's a great leader. But he understands that part of the business.
Yeah.
To the point that I would say that the reason we gave him the Dan Holohan Lifetime Achievement Award is because in the company in the industry, I think he's the best trainer.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. But I want to comment on that. May I comment on something else?
Of course.
I have to say that, you know, as I look at the training and the reason we gave this to him is because as time has gone on, training has, I think, outstripped in value the products themselves. Okay, because we all have good products, efficient products, all that stuff. It's a matter of what we do with them.
Yeah.
Right. So and how we design systems and everything else. That's what it's all about. And so to pull that together is what John Barber has been doing with his people. But it's important for me to mention that another company in this industry that I think had their 100th anniversary last year is Bell & Gossett.
Bell & Gossett, right?
And the relationship between Takeo and Bell & Gossett goes back 3 generations, the Gossett family and the White family.
Yeah.
It's a very peculiar, special relationship. I respect that company as I respect Takeo.
Good.
I respect what they stand for because they stand for many of the same principles. It's about quality and systems and all that stuff. But the two companies have spent 100 years, particularly the last 30, training the industry. I think Takeo and Bell & Gossett are the leaders in industry training. And so, you know, I put a value on that side of the business now as I used to put on just selling what I call cast iron by the pound.
Okay. And I know, you know, I don't expect you to recap 100 years of accomplishments here at the time we have. I can write that story. I know we want to come out and visit you. But if you could think about some turning points, I guess, for the company.
Sure.
In the past. Well, let's put the time that you've been around.
Well, I go back a little bit before that. Takeo was really the innovator. So Takeo is split into several different areas, but commercial and residential.
Yeah.
Okay. And all I'm going to say about differentiating commercial and residential is little ones and big ones.
Yeah.
Okay. Pumps, valves, whatever. You got little ones in residential and big ones in commercial. You know, there's been turning points all along the way in both sides. The biggest one, I would say, was that John White, my father, he was an interesting thinker, you know, and he was way ahead of his time internationally. He had a company in Zurich, Switzerland in 1960, right? I mean, nobody did that. But he was the originator in the United States of the wet rotor circulator, okay, which became really the industry transformed with that product. And we were the first people to do that here. And that was, I have to say, that was absolutely the transformative moment for Takeo because it put us in a whole different position in the industry. You know, commercially, when we got into the commercial pump business seriously, that was within my era here, you know, in Takeo. That's been, because it's taken us to 50% of our business being commercial. That's that's transformative too, because I'll tell you what, Steve, as I look back over my years, any given year the business is this 40-60, 60-40 commercial residential. And so everything we've done to transform either side of that has protected us and protected those jobs.
Good. Now, last couple of questions.
By the way,
yeah.
the most transformative
Yeah.
thing we ever did in that company was the training and education.
Yes, absolutely.
That-
You're well known for that.
Just putting people in a position where they can learn and grow,
Right.
and their families can prosper,
Right.
and they're safe and they're happy.
training employees and contractors, obviously, yeah?
Oh yeah, we do. Of course, we bring in thousands of people every year
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
you know to.
Yeah, it's been a while since I came visit you.
I wish you would.
We will. We will.
Yeah.
So, I'll ask a couple of questions. Do you have any formal events planned for the 100 years celebration this year?
So they're rolling out as we speak, but
Yeah.
we have tonight. Of course, we have a big party every year at the
Yeah.
AHR show.
Of course.
That one's important too, not just because it's a great party, but the reason we've continued to do that and grow it and develop it is because it brings people from all over the world together for one night.
Yeah.
And people actually have told me many, many times they come from all over the world just to go to that party, to see people they only see once a year. That's one thing. We've got a whole list of things that are going to unfold
All right.
over the year.
All right.
Over the year.
We'll stay tuned.
Customer events and employee events.
Of course. Okay, good. Okay, last question. I mean, what can my readers expect from TACO in the year ahead, I guess?
You know, I want to fall short of saying something as idiotic as more of the same, but I want to say more of the same because I mean it in a very positive way, not a more of the same. But this company is doing marvelous things. You know, under the leadership of Cheryl Merchant, our president, you know, the company is just exploding in terms of energy, you know, involvement. So I think you'll see a continual improvement of the company. And you know, we have a great team, as I've said before, between Cheryl and Ken Dumas, our finance guy, and Ken Watson, our marketing guy, and we have a team that can now take us wherever I think we want to go.
Very good. We'll end it on that note. So more of the same, but more of the
mean
same.
that
Great people, innovative products, and creativity. You can't go wrong with that.
No, sir.
Very good. Well, thanks a lot for the time. Thank you very much.
It's absolutely great.